right, and we're back. So this is part two. We're talking about inflation. So why is it that you might be losing money and you probably don't even realize it? So if you want to look at the money supply in the United States, you can look in the Fed, you could type in Fred, you could type in M1, money supply. But you can actually see, how much money has actually been created in the United States of America for decades. And you can see that in 2020 that it absolutely just skyrocketed. That's what we call helicopter money. Now, if this is not put in check, and it's hard to see how this won't lead to inflation in the coming years. Well, what does that mean? That means that now the US dollar may not be the best reserve, the best currency to hold portions of your wealth if you have it, and you may not even realize it, but your wealth might actually depreciate. Mean your value will actually maybe go down. So this is why people are looking towards other assets. In the past, they've looked towards precious metals, maybe gold or silver, maybe other commodities, collectibles, etc. And now I think people are really waking up to the idea of digital currencies, and i.e. Bitcoin is leading the way. And Bitcoin is very interesting as a hedge against the US dollar, because Bitcoin, unlike the US dollar, has a fixed supply. It will always have a fixed supply, so it will never have more than 21 million Bitcoin in existence ever. Now, that number, until we get to 21 million, won't be fixed, because we're continuing to increase supply, every block of the blockchain. But we've already released 18 million plus, and the supply I would gather is much less than that, because many people have just lost their keys, lost their wallets, lost their digital currencies. But why is that important? Because people might realize, well, hey, if I am holding my wealth in dollars, and my dollars, say, are depreciating, now this is the big number, and this is what this is all about. You have to do your homework, you have to decide, but or get a ballpark to understand what this means. What is the rate of inflation that you believe is happening and will continue to happen for the next 5-10 years? You see, anybody can tell you one thing, they can publish results, they can change the numbers, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And you have to come with that number. And if your number, say if you think it's 15% a year for the next 5 years, well, do the math. That means that you're looking, 5 times 15 is what, 75. So 75% depreciation in 5 years. You're looking at huge losses of your capital, of your wealth, just being stripped away right underneath your nose. You don't even realize it. It's just simply because more dollars are going in existence, making your dollars that you currently hold less valuable. Are your wages keeping up with prices? This is just something to think about. And so people are considering this, and Bitcoin seems to be a place. Now, it's still very volatile, and it has gone through cycles every 4 years, but this is something that investors are looking at as a store of value, kind of like a gold 2.0 or digital gold. And so far, so good in the long term. Bitcoin has outperformed or appreciated against the dollar. If you look at the charts, it's phenomenal. I mean, we're talking hundreds of percent. And that may really compound and turn into something very big for lots of inflationary fiat currencies around the world. And at some point, perhaps, I'm not saying it'll be Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as it currently stands, is it's kind of expensive to send, and it's not fast. The network can't handle it probably as a currency, but it certainly can serve as a store of value like a gold 2.0. But maybe it'll be another digital currency. Who knows? But there's nothing set in stone to say that these fiat currencies, and namely the dollar, will remain the world's reserve currency. And so maybe it'll be something else. We have the IMF and the SDRs, and But this may be something that where the cat is out of the bag. And if you're listening to this now, this is 2021, you know, I would say that you're not too late. If anything, you're early. But the windows of opportunity, they do come and they do narrow and then close. And you may want to consider this, because otherwise, think about it this way. If you get into an asset that is appreciating tremendously and you get into it early on, you can probably create wealth, and in some cases, generational wealth. If you get into it later, maybe you can make some money, but maybe not life-changing money. And if you get into it too late, maybe it's already kind of pretty stable. It might be a store of value, but you know, the ship may have sailed. I don't think that's happened with Bitcoin yet at all. I think that right now there's less than probably 1% of people around the world that actually hold Bitcoin. But if the trend continues, more and more people will, you know, we're standing right now, I think Bitcoin today is about $54,000 a coin. So, you know, ask yourself, you know, and it doesn't really, I mean, listen, it doesn't matter 54,000, it matters, you know, percentage wise. If you were to buy into this at 54,000, just to double your money, Bitcoin would have to go to $108,000 per coin. And, you know, some would say, you know, okay, look at the market cap of what Bitcoin would be at that time. That's maybe about close to 2 trillion. I'm roughly doing the math, but, you know, that's still well below the overall gold market. So, you know, it's not unreasonable. It's not unfathomable. It's not out of the, it's easy to see how that is a very, very easy, good potential. And hey, that could even happen during this bull run. That could happen within the next few months. And so why do I say that? Because, you know, diversification is always, you know, very important. You know, this isn't something that, you know, but this is something you might want to consider in a portfolio. You know, you have to make your own decisions. This isn't financial advice. You know, do your own research. But to have a little bit in your portfolio can go a long way. You know, even if, you know, and it all depends. It just, you know, I think some people, what do they say? They come for the gains and they stay for the technology. You know, the blockchain underneath Bitcoin is powerful. It's a deflationary currency by nature, and it has something that's very, very, very unique, because it's not, currently it's decentralized. It's not controlled by any one person or one government. And, you know, that makes this a very, very, very unique monetary system, structure, currency in humankind. And so I guess, you know, we'll have to wait to see. But the question is, you know, if you have to make a decision, you know, here's the things that I would look at is, what is the inflation rate that I think is going on and will go on for the next few years? Bake that into your calculations. That tells you how many years you have, basically, until your current paper fiat, you know, depreciates. And you can use the rule of 72. So if you think, you know, say if you're looking at a 10% inflation rate a year, 72 divided by 10, roughly, you're looking at about 7 years. If you're looking at 5-year inflation rate, you know, then you're 72 divided by, you know, 5, then you're looking at, you know, 14 years. Then maybe this isn't that imminent. It's not that urgent. But you have to think about that. And depending on the numbers you come up with, that might help you figure out what your strategy is. And if you're considering moving some of your wealth and diversifying it into other asset classes and really thinking about digital currencies as the future, Bitcoin, whatever it may be, that might give you a roadmap of when and how much, you know, you're willing to, you know, to kind of believe what you feel and believe what you read and believe what you see. So anyways, I just throw this out there, you know, as a thought, to thought provoke, and, you know, I hope it helps. Good luck, and stay tuned.